And we should be live. Welcome everybody to the show. I'm not sure how many people are in right now. I forgot to post the link in the Discord and all of that, but here we are. Welcome to the Sunday show today, the Sunday Spiel. We have a special guest today. We have Brum, Reseller here. Yeah, you probably didn't recognize him from the thumbnail if you saw the thumbnail. I asked him for a photo for the thumbnail and he sent me that. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to use that. You don't get a second chance at sending me a thumbnail picture. So we did use that. So yeah, welcome. It's good to have you on the show. How are you doing? Are you good?
Yeah, all good. Thanks for inviting me. This is, this is my first invitational.
Turn you up a tiny
bit. I jumped onto a different one before, but yeah, this is my first invite, so thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, it's good to have you. If you want to just give a little quick rundown of who you are, what you do, in case there's anyone here that doesn't know you yet, they should do, but in case they don't.
Yeah, so my name's John. I'm in Birmingham, and I've been selling for about 5 years, I think. Used to work full time. Quit my job in lockdown, sort of August last year. Full time job. Quit that. And since then, things have just been moving so fast. Just things have changed quite a lot. Whereas I used to have just general CARBOOT stuff and a lot of records.
Yeah.
And then moved into a unit to start with, and then a shop came up, and I moved everything into the shop.
Yeah, because I think I'm pretty sure it was your channel. The first one I saw with you was picking up lost parcels from like a random shop. That was you, right? That was a while ago now. You went in, you bought like 20 or something, and then they were all trash. Parcels? Yeah, it was like Royal Mail.
Mad video. Yeah. So
good or bad? Good or bad deal?
It was a bad deal for what I got, but the outcome of that video was amazing for the channel anyway.
Yeah.
Because I spent 120 quid, and I was quite like stupid. I was just stupid. I didn't really look into it as much as I should have. So got my camera on my chest, went into this shop. It was £6 parcels. You don't know what's inside them. They were all undeliverable, so there was a problem with the address, or there was no number of the address on the label, and they'd been returned to a warehouse, and they were selling them by the pallet.
Yeah.
And so done the video, and it blew up. I think it's on like 150,000.
That's mental.
Views.
Nice.
Yeah, I think my biggest reselling video is like 8,000, maybe like 9,000. Not even.
Mine's less than that. I think mine's about 5,000.
To get 100,000+, that's like you ascended the reseller community with that video for sure. At least the UK community.
Yeah, definitely. And it got me like 1,500 subs from that.
Is that it?
So, yeah.
Oh, I thought it would have been more than for 100. It was 150,000.
That's not too bad. That's like 1%, isn't it? It's like 1%.
I suppose.
And I think the main thing that stuck with the channel as well. Them subs have stuck.
Yeah.
I think, you know.
You never really know, do you?
As long as you see a general growth over time, then you know there wasn't like a massive like 300 sub drop off or anything. It just sort of stayed. So that was my sort of breakout video into the reselling world, and then
the thing is with that sort of video, that's completely different. It's somebody nobody else is doing. Nobody else is touching these sort of subjects. Like, so it's a complete open market for you. That's fantastic, and it's probably worth you doing those sort of videos again, just for the content.
Is that shop still running?
Yeah.
Like, was that just like a pop-up thing they did, or?
Yeah, that's still there. I was getting threats from the guy.
Why?
Because the stuff was crap.
Because it had his face in the video. So I had to go back. I said, I understand that. So I had to go back and blur out. If you watch the video now, it's all blurred. The start of it anyway, and then it just cuts out. Yeah, he wasn't happy at all because I think at the time the video got like 10,000 views. It's got like 150 now. He said he was going to send people down to the house, my house.
To do what?
To get me to take a video down and all this sort of stuff.
Was it a public area?
No, he went inside. There was like a little corner shop on it.
It was a shop. It's a pub.
Yeah.
It's a shop that's open to the public.
So really, in all fairness, you've done what he asked you to do. You blurred out his face, which is fine. He's asked for that. I'd do that if anybody asked me to do that for them. I'd blur their faces out. But
yeah, I've done that.
The threats are unnecessary, though, really, aren't they? But
yeah, completely.
He should have. The thing, people get an opportunity at that point, and he took the wrong opportunity. He should have said, "Oh, that was a pretty cool video. You gave us a little bit of promotion. How about you come down and grab 20 more off us for free and make another video?" But he went the other way and shut it down, and now no one's going to know about his shop anymore. And now he's probably looking at the video going, "There's 150,000 views on that now," and he's shut it all down. So
people still comment saying, "Oh, where's the shop? I want to buy some." So
yeah,
like, I just love the gamble and the just to see what they might get them. They're looking for the iPhones and the Galaxies and so that was it's quite scary. Someone's saying that they're going to send people around to your house.
I'll just say go on.
But stupidly, it's all on email.
Oh.
I'm looking at your videos, and your most popular one is Mr. Maker and the Shapes live. I am shape dance.
I am a shape. Yeah.
That's got 500,000 views on it. That's mental.
Yeah,
that's good. Was that before the reselling content, or
this one was 3 years ago? Yeah,
3 years.
Yeah. So like, I'd really started YouTube like probably I'd say about 10 years ago.
13
just
years
like
ago. 13 years ago.
13, really. Yeah, 13.
Goes quick, doesn't it?
And I'd just record nights out because if I didn't record it, I wouldn't really remember what happened. So I just put it on YouTube.
Did you have what did you have like subwords when you switched over to the main content, or?
So I started January 2000 and last year, 2019, and I think I had about 500 subs.
Yeah, see, I started about February, I think, last year, and I had 3,000 because it was a gaming channel previous. But as soon as I put my first reselling video up, I lost 1,500 subs. So it just I literally the drop off was mental, and I was like, oh, I'm posting videos, and every time I post a video, I'm losing 100 subs, and it was it took a while to get to the point where I was actually seeing growth. So I was gaining 10 subs, but in reality, I was actually gaining 150 because I was losing so many at the same time. So I was only seeing a tiny weeny growth, and then obviously CARBOOT's I was doing CARBOOT videos, and then it went mental, and then lockdown happened, so I had to stop. And then as soon as everything reopened again, the channel just went crazy. But now obviously everything's shut, so it's kind of stagnated. But you have the shop, which is pretty cool because that's kind of like your little CARBOOT. It's interesting while the CARBOOTs are shut. People like that, so that's really cool. I like that.
It's a shame that it's not up and running at a minute. That would be really good.
Are you when stuff reopens? Are you gonna do shop videos during the day when people come in and stuff, or are you just gonna avoid filming when people are there, or
like Craigslist Hunter?
Well, yeah. I don't know because the way I've got it at the moment, it's on a tripod and I'm walking around, but and I'm a bit uncomfortable doing that. If people are around that don't like filming, it's so I don't know what sort of a setup I'll have. I might just have it in the corner and I'll just press record and see what happens. And if I pick anything good up, then that fair enough. But I've kind of shocked myself, through lockdown, just the amount of content that I've been able to create and just think of and do, and because when I was doing them in the start last year in Jan, when the first lockdown hit, I just stopped. And I just thought,
I did the same.
And there wasn't there wasn't really much I could have done. But this time I've just tried just to play it on through it and just record your day, and just some people kind of just like that.
I'm not sure if we're still live because we got an error message come up on the thing.
I could see that we're still live on here.
Okay.
Got a little one here. Well,
we'll just keep going and hopefully it comes back. So the shop
don't really get huge numbers relatively, as even the top YouTubers in the USA are not massive, but they get a loyal following. I don't think we get a loyal following. I don't believe it's a loyal following.
I mean, you don't get a loyal following.
I don't.
I think Nick and Andrew have a pretty loyal follower base, but
my only loyal ones are the haters that have just definitely come on and smash their thumbs down before the video even goes live.
Okay.
And it's like 2 or 3 people, because it'll go up to like 10 dislikes and it'll go down to 3. It's like pathetic.
Yeah.
Get a life.
Yeah, you've got a loyal hater base. That's what you have. There's a difference. So that shop, when you moved in there, was that just like a temporary get out of a unit, move into the shop situation, and then like you planning to move somewhere else and now you're staying, or how's that?
So with the shop, like I was in a unit which I didn't have a unit, and I moved into a 320 square foot unit because someone came along and said I've got like 10 pallets of kitchen stock for $4,000, and it was the time where I was leaving my job, and I thought, well, if I take that deal, I've got to go for the unit, and then if I've got the unit, I can work from the unit. So I've done that, and that was like the stepping stone. Then I thought, because once you do that, there's no stopping you, because like Joe, like when you've got that space, you just feel it. You just get stuff all the time. And then because you got more stock, you can sell more stock. That's fingers crossed. So then I was working from there, and I thought, it wouldn't be great that if I could have this set up in a way where I can invite people to the unit to buy stuff. And I was thinking about Christmas and maybe inviting family and friends just to come and pick some stock. I'll sell it to them. But then it got me thinking, like a unit where on a high street or a shop, and I'd walk the kids down to school, and there's a row of empty shops just down the road there, and I always thought, like, what are they doing? And there was one shop, and they were just selling beads from there, and they were never open. I thought, how is that business running from that shop? And one day I walked past, and they were closing up, taking everything out. And I messaged them on Facebook saying, I'm sorry about your closing, but can you put me in contact with your landlord? And he phoned me that night. And when he told me the price, I was just gobsmacked, because I was paying like 440 quid for 320 square foot.
I don't even pay that much for my warehouse.
Yeah. And then when he said it was 380 for 900 square foot, I was like,
mental.
I'm having it.
Yeah, I can't get a 100 square foot unit here for less than £350 a month, so that's really good. Yeah. Because when I first saw that shop, like, you just had like all of your eBay stuff in there, but now it's more records and stuff, like proper set up like an old record store kind of thing. Yeah. Is that what you're gonna stick to, or are you gonna move it more towards the general stuff as well?
So the plan for that is it's going to be records, but what I might do is introduce, say if someone comes to me, because I'm going to buy records as well, and hopefully I'll put a sign outside saying buy and sell vinyl, but I'll put on their media. So then the idea is that when people's bringing their vinyls in, CDs and stuff, I say, well, I buy your gaming stuff. So I'll hopefully having people bring stuff to me, and I'll just expand. So then what I'll do, I'll sell gaming stuff in the future. I'll have a little section because I've still got a lot of space out the back which I could develop.
It would work well as a retro gaming area, with vinyls and retro gaming. Yeah, it'd be really cool.
It's gonna be so cool. Just go in there. Are you allowed to like paint it up or anything, or do you have to keep it like how it is, or what sort of like leeway do you have with that?
I can do what I want with it, he said, but as long as it's put back to a rentable condition, that he doesn't have to sort of do anything crazy to it. Like I'm not knocking down walls or anything. He's happy. He's fine. I mean, it's just a guy that owns the block. So there was no credit checks, no agency fees, or nothing.
So you could like snag another one next door at some point and just leave it shut and just have it as storage.
I've been looking. There is one that's shut.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I can't, because like, and I've got like that haul of paraffin lamps yesterday, and I'm doing a video at the moment. I went to Leicester today and I got another 1,400 records, and it's just looking every week is getting full out, and there's no car boots on. So I'm thinking when the car boots start, I'm going to be filling my car again, and it's getting full.
That's a good thing. Already? Yeah, I love filling up the car boot. I need to get a van now.
Yeah. There's you guys with cars and vans, and I've got a little trolley up for the long.
I don't drive. Don't drive.
Yeah, but you get lifts and stuff. I don't. I'm just gonna start my own car boot. Pick a field that's close. Start my own one, and then I'll just take the money for all the cars coming in.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I never used to drive either. I passed my test September. I've been driving over a year now anyway, and that was like
game changer.
The change, that was the catalyst, because then I was driving, and instead of I'd get the bus to pick up stock off Facebook Marketplace, and it would take me like an hour each way, and then I'm picking that stuff up in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then it just opened the door to the whole country if the deal's good enough. Yeah, you know, this weekend I've been to Leicester, Rugby, Dudley, for different things which I've never been able to do before. Never.
I just completely adapt around it instead of having to go out and do Facebook Marketplace pickups, which I do. I have sometimes sent taxis off to pick up stuff if it's like nice profit margin, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Gaming stock. I'll send taxis off to get it. I'll pay for the taxi to go there and come back, and I'll pay for them on the bank. But really, most of my stock, what I'm getting in now, I order it. I just phone up people and say, I need some stuff. I'll bring it around. I'll order it online. Just really adapt to it. I mean, I could literally get 1,000 pieces in tomorrow if I wanted 1,000 pieces to list. Don't need it because I've got all of that clothing, which I need to get through first. But as soon as you start making those sort of contacts, you don't have to go out and pick up. I don't see the driving ever going to be an issue. Like, obviously, I will be getting my driver license because I still enjoy the boot sales and things like that. But at the minute, I can't drive because I had a seizure. So what was I?
All right. Yeah. Jay, are you thinking about driving?
I want to drive, but the problem is right now, and it's probably just an excuse in my head I'm using, but the waiting list to actually do because I can drive. I've done lessons before. I just never did the theory test because I always hated doing like tests, like written tests. So I never went and did the theory test. Yeah. But the problem is, like, the actual waiting list now for the physical test, like the actual driving test itself, is like over a year because obviously everyone from last year that was supposed to do it still has to do it, and everyone from this year, so the queue's just getting longer and longer. So I don't know whether to just like bite the bullet and do the lessons again and get in line, or just wait, because I was thinking about just getting an electric bike. I want to get an electric bike so I can go do pickups in the local area and stuff. I think that'd be pretty cool. Zooming around on a bike,
trolley on the back,
making videos. Well, I have a bike trolley that I can connect to the back of a bike. So I think that'd be pretty cool content in the meantime. But I don't know whether, like, I'm in that bit of a grey area where I don't know whether I want to just go for it and to get on that waiting list, or just wait another year and just get a bike, get an electric bike, because it's about £1,000 for a mediocre bike, which will get some content out of it as well. So I don't know. I'm still thinking. It is expensive, especially around here, to do your lessons and the test, and then get the vehicle and insure it. And
yeah, it's
Gary,
all business expenses though.
did they
Taxable.
treat you as when you got your, obviously you passed last year or whatever? Did they treat you as like a new driver, like an 18-year-old, like in the like insurance kind of thing, or did they treat you as a older person that's just passed? Like, because I don't know whether they're gonna be like, oh, you're a new driver, you're gonna have the same like insurance rates as like an 18-year-old that's just passed, or
Well, my insurance was £130 a month.
that's quite high.
Which,
So yeah.
yeah, it's quite high. And at the time, like, I was working and eBaying, so it was just a cost that I just swallowed. But you know, it's taxable, so your insurance is taxable. And then your car, you know, the running of the car itself is then taxable,
not
and
like
your petrol and that.
no. Well, what's taxable is the mileage on the car.
Yeah, not the
I
insurance.
don't think so. I think the mileage is taxable. I think the cost of the vehicle is not taxable. I don't think. I was speaking to Aaron. Well, I say I was speaking
Oh
to
yeah,
Aaron. My bookkeeper spoke to Aaron because I tried writing off the car because we bought the car for the business, and he just said no, it's just too difficult to do, and it's better off just writing off mileage up to 10,000 miles and 45p a mile. Anything after 10,000 miles is 25p a mile, which covers everything, like from maintenance to tax, MOT, insurance, and fuel.
I don't know anything about that because I don't drive. We got a
yeah.
few questions in the chat we can run through if you want.
How much did the pallet cost me? 400 quid.
Someone asked earlier what did you do before you went full time?
I was manager of a taxi company, 10 years.
That was probably a good time to leave then, wasn't it? Because they probably experienced some troubles during the last year.
Yeah. What it was, the company I work for, they own a lot of taxi companies all over the country, and they were sort of merging different companies, and the job that wanted me to do is like an area manager, which would have covered Shrewsbury, Telford, Wolverhampton, and Solihull, and that's like a 60-mile, and with the head office being in Shrewsbury instead of where I work in Solihull. So when you add in 120-mile round trip a couple of times a week, that's going to get in the way of my external reselling activities. And I thought,
Yeah.
you know what? If I was to put my full-time hours that I'll do managing the tax companies, what I could do for myself, and I just thought, you know, I'm just going to go for it.
Yeah, see, I don't know. I still feel like, because I say I'm full time, but really, because I don't drive, I'm technically like full time, but I work part-time hours. So I feel like if I
Yeah.
had the means to like work a full day every day, like it would be good. That's kind of why I'm looking at getting that bike and that. But yeah, that's cool. Like from going from like doing that kind of thing to going full time reselling, that's quite a difference in work. But
You could
sounds
get
like
yourself.
Yeah.
You could get yourself a moped. Get yourself a provisional license and CBD test, and go around with one of those Uber Eats bags on the back. Go do pickups with an Uber Eats bag.
no, electric
Mate.
bike. Electric bike. That's about all I'm interested in right now. Maybe I'll do the driving. I don't know. Ashley Martin says, Brum Reseller, my favourite reseller, same age as me and grumpy ass. If you put 10 stone on, we would be the twins.
Who was that?
Ashley Martin. He actually bought 3 of our packs last night on the Pokemon show, I think.
Did he get any pulse?
I don't know. It's on you got his cards, so you got to ship them off.
They're up there. I've got them all ready to be posted out tomorrow. I'll do a video on that. But I'm only doing one video this week. It's going to come out Friday. It's going to be about an hour and a half long.
You're doing an hour and a half long packing video of that, did you
say?
No,
not an hour and a half long packing video. A week in the reseller or whatever it's going to be. Just a whole week. Instead of doing a Monday video, Tuesday video, Wednesday video, I'm going to see how it goes just to have one longer length video on everything I've done for the week.
I couldn't watch you for an hour, mate. You'd drive me crazy.
Well,
about 15 minutes a day this was about as much of you as I can put up with.
I'll put all the good tips at the end just to keep you watching.
I'll just zoom to the end. It's fine. I work 4 on 4 off 12 hours and part-time, hope full-time next year. Yeah, the difference between like full-time and part-time is crazy, I feel. For people that like can do it, actually, like, obviously when you work full-time for a different company, you're working like 6 to 8 hours a day. If you can put 8 actual hours into reselling, like it's mad what you could actually do. Because I'm not putting anywhere near 8 hours a day. I'm probably doing 3 max. Like, I wake up, I do any photos or listings I have to do, and then like I do my packages like once every 2 days or something. And until charity shops and car boots reopen, obviously that takes up a lot more hours because obviously you're out and about sourcing. But right now I'm just sourcing all online and they drop it off to my house. So technically, I guess if you're categorizing like search and Facebook as like work hours, it's a little bit higher than that, but
yeah. And the fact that like when you go full time, you can go at a drop of a hat to go and get something. And I'd be sitting at work thinking, oh god, like I've just seen like a deal on Facebook, and I'm messaging them saying, oh, I'll come after 7:30. I can be there for 7:30 this evening. They want someone now.
What I always do is I always get the address first. So I'll message them and I'll say, what's the address, please? And then they'll give me the address. I've got their address now. Then I'll turn around and goes, okay, can I pay you right now? I'll transfer them the money there and then. But you've got their address. I wouldn't offer them the money first. I wouldn't just say to them. I wouldn't say to them, I'll pay you now. Can I just have your address? What I'd say is, can I have your address, please? And then they'll send me their address. Then I'll send them a message saying, I could be by in 5 hours' time tonight. I can pay you right now if you just send me your bank details or your PayPal details. I'll transfer it straight across to you right now.
Up to what limit though? What amount?
What amount?
Would you be comfortable with?
If I'm doing a Facebook Marketplace pickup, it's never really more than £150, is it?
That's still mad to transfer the money like before you get there. Like, because they could just not open the door. What are you going to do? Like egg their house or something if they don't open the door?
The thing is, like, they've given you their address. They've given you trust in you.
What if it's a fake address?
Like, why would you send a fake address? I mean, I haven't said to you, I'll give you your money now. Please can I have your address? Then I'm kind of like inciting them giving me a fake address. Yeah, here you go. Here's my address. Just send me the money now. And then they can block and delete me or whatever. What I'm saying is, can I have your address, please? They'll give me the address. They've got no reason to give me a fake address at that point. Now it goes, okay, thank you very much. I can transfer you money and come collect it in a couple of hours.
Fair enough. If that's what you want to do, I wouldn't do that personally. But
I've never had a problem with it. I've had one close to a problem, which I thought was going to be an issue. It was a fridge freezer, it was a big American fridge freezer. They said, we're getting a new one replaced, blah, blah, blah. This one we're going to be selling for 80 quid. So I messaged them saying, oh, can I have this, please? And he goes, yeah, it's pick up Monday. I was like, no problem. What's the address, please? I'll get my van man ready. I'll book him for Monday. They gave me the address and everything. Then I paid him. Van man turned up on Monday morning. She wasn't home. Like, she weren't there. I thought, oh, great. I've just been mugged off right right off here, and they've had that up for a week, so they've probably mugged a few people off. That's what I thought happened. And then I sent them a few messages, and then a couple of hours later, I've accepted that I've lost the 80 quid. They messaged back saying, "I'm really sorry, we had to pop out to shops or whatever. I'm free now." I'm like, "Well, my van man isn't free now, so I'll come by in a couple of days and collect it."
They could have told you, like, "Oh, I've popped out. I'm going to be like an hour or something," before they went out. Someone in chat says eBay's messaged them to stop selling because they've sold £50,000 because they want a VAT number. Surely they don't need the VAT number until you're like over the threshold or at the threshold, right?
My eBay actually says...
Seems a bit weird.
I think my eBay's incorrect because it says 85,000, so that's not correct. I've definitely done more than that. But eBay has never messaged me asking me for a VAT number or anything like that. They have started adding in the listing thing where you click write in your price and it'll say price of item, then it'll say in brackets VAT included. But obviously, if you're not VAT registered, they're not gonna.
Yeah, that's a point actually, because people were freaking out the other week because of the new VAT rules and stuff with eBay, and the way they word stuff on their like frequently asked questions is terrible. So people were thinking they're gonna have to like charge 20% VAT and whatnot. But if you actually read it, it says from I think the 1st of March, so tomorrow, basically tomorrow, I'm pretty sure. The VAT box has to be filled out. So if you're not VAT registered, you can just put 0% in there. So.
Yeah.
If you're VAT registered, you put the 20% or whatever it happens to be. But yeah, for everyone else, it's just 0%. And then I think the other thing is like international sales, eBay are just doing it for you. So they'll just be like claiming the VAT. Because I think international sales has to have VAT on now. That's the rule. So eBay are collecting it and sending it to HMRC for you. You don't have to deal with it.
Like add on to that, obviously when I become VAT registered, what's going to happen with what I have to charge? So, I mean, international sales, I won't have to charge VAT.
No, you'll just do it yourself.
But obviously I still have to pay VAT on the profits.
You'll just take, instead of eBay taking it, because it's like required, I think you'll just get the VAT and just process it as you normally would. I think the reason is... I think before like Brexit, like I think anything that was under £15 was VAT free on international. I think, even if you weren't registered, or if you were registered or whatever. But then they changed it to like something else. So that, as far as I'm aware, that's how that works. I could be wrong, but I don't think you have to do anything other than put 0 in the VAT box. If I'm wrong, I apologise, and I'll correct in the next week's episode. But I guess we'll find out tomorrow. We'll find out tomorrow when we list, and then it'll do that thing where it's like you forgot to fill something out, and it makes you do it, and then you click list again. It's like you still forgot to. It's like, why don't you tell me there was 2 things the first time instead of 2 separate occasions? Like if you're doing clothing, sometimes you can do that up to like 4 or 5 times, and it will come up with like another thing you have to fill in every single time. It's so annoying. Yeah. One thing I really wanted to ask you, how are you dealing with like I guess you're cross-listing, like not cross-listing, but shop and eBay at the same time. Like how are you dealing with, obviously you're closed right now, so it's not too much of an issue, but yeah, when it reopens, how are you going to deal with that?
At the moment, I've got, in the videos, you'll see like a massive stack of records that are by the window. All of that stock is listed on eBay. The rest of it is not on eBay. It's at the back. The rest that's on eBay. So, this is the thing I've been thinking of, how I'm going to do it. Whether I don't list on eBay anymore, and if a record comes in, it stays out, and then if I want to list some stuff, I take it out of the shop and put it in the back.
I was thinking you could. Do you have your vinyl sleeved and like those plastic sleeve things?
No.
I was thinking you could sleeve them and then get those little like round dot colors, and then you could, like, if it's an eBay listed, you could put like a color on it on the corner, and then like if someone moves it around the shop and puts it back in the wrong place, you'll see it. Oh, it's got a color there. That's an eBay one. It go back up the front. But the only problem is with that, like if someone comes in and nicks something, like, and then it sells on eBay, you're going to be stood there for 2 hours. Like, where is this record? Like,
But also with that, the
Well,
condition's not going to be the same as well, because somebody picks one up, drops on the floor, and it gets a crack in it, and then you sell it on eBay. Then the condition's not going to be the same. You're going to have item not as described case. What I would do in that situation, just as what I would do, because I've been considering opening up a shop myself, I would all of my old stock, which I've got in a store, I'll have it in the store, and then it'll go on there for like a couple of months when we get a new lot of inventory in. That I go directly into the store. All of the old stuff will come out of the store onto the eBay store, and that's how I'd rotate it. But I wouldn't cross list it over on both, just because it can be item is not as described. Items can get stolen. But yeah, and also trying to find it when somebody's moved it from one place to another, that'll be a hell.
yeah, that's going to be the worst thing, I feel.
yeah, I mean, this happens anyway. I lose stuff all the time. I'll go to find a record that should be in this box that's not in the box. Um, the best thing I do for that is I go back to my emails where I was listing that stack of records, and I'll find a similar record that was listed at the same time and see what box they were in to check that box. But if I can't find it, what I'll do is buy it off eBay and get it sent to the customer. So I don't tell the customer.
Drop ship.
Yeah. No one's.
I mean, that is a good way of getting around it, yeah. And then you just find it 2 months later where it shouldn't have been, but...
Yeah.
I
had a K Bush one.
That message from Dan, I want to quickly just say you can't get a cheap label printer that has Bluetooth to go onto your phone. It's not an easy thing to do. I did have a printer.
Well, you can, but not 6x4. You need, for eBay labels, you need 6x4, and there's no, not as far as I'm aware, they're all like not.
You don't need 6x4. I started mine on a.
But you do to print a full size label. You're not supposed to do it on a smaller one.
You can make the label smaller. You can make the label smaller and print it on a QL600. That's what I did for the first year. And I gave that away in a giveaway when I hit 1,000 subscribers. And a giveaway with that brother.
There you go. Apparently, there's a brother one that does work with Wi-Fi and works with a phone.
Yeah, because that's one of the big jobs I've got to do is price everything. When I had the kitchen stock, I was like really unprepared. I just thought, one, I didn't think it'd be that busy, and I opened and I got smashed all day. People asking how much is this, and I was like,
was that in the same shop? You did that out of that same shop?
Yeah, yeah. So when I moved in there, I didn't realise how much kitchen stock I had, and I thought, well, it's a good window to get all that kitchen stock out and have like a jumble sale sort of shop for a bit, get rid of that, and then it'll be the record store in the new year. But yeah, that's one of the big things, pricing. So did you say you had a printer that would print the prices? Because I've been looking at label, you know, the old style shop label.
Yeah, I had a brother that did. You could do it come in a continuous roll like that, and then you could like have it diagonal, so you could just type in on the thing like £5, and then it would print.
Yeah.
Like however big, and then it just like rips off and stuff.
If you want a model number, Dymo 450 label printer works for that same thing.
I had the QL 500 or something. It wasn't a very
I've
good printer,
got
but
a lot of QL 500s for sale as well.
I've got a Zerbra. Does that?
You can
change
get...
the print?
Yeah, you can change the size labels. If you've got a 4x6, you can actually buy like little 1-inch labels because the thingy like constricts, and you can actually just use the same 4x6 label printer with the smaller labels.
Have you googled like a price gun? There's like an actual gun, like a tape gun, and then you just like change the thing on it, and then you just go and then the little sticky label comes out.
I see it on Amazon, yeah.
That's probably the best. That's probably the best way to do it, because obviously faffing around with proper label printers, they're like labels that don't come off either. They're like they stick on there really good. Yeah. So At least with a like label gun that you'd have in like a shop, like you can peel them off at any point, nice and easy. So
Yeah.
and then you can do £5, and you can just rip through like 50 things at once with £5, then switch it to like 550, do the next lot. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's a big job.
Yeah.
Got to do that.
Are you doing that like for opening? Is that you're gonna label, or are you gonna do like?
The other thing was having a lot of the records will be the same price, so I might put them into the genre, so like house music, and then I'll have dividers. Well, this section is like £4.
Yeah.
But then the problem is people don't put it in the back. In the same.
I think
the problem is
mixed up with the price sticker individually on each stick. Yeah.
Yeah, because otherwise
with the gun.
They're just gonna bring them up and be like, "Well, that was in the £1 section. That's on for," and then and then it's like, do you just give it to them for £1 or like tell them no? Like it's people that are gonna have you on are gonna have you on if you don't have like the labels on. But then again, I know a few charity shops that people go in and they peel stickers off cheap items and stick them on expensive ones. And
price guns are cheap.
They go up to the store.
Price guns are cheap. They're a tenner.
The other thing is, if an item isn't priced, the customer won't pay. That they'll think that it's going to be cheaper than what I've labelled it. But if I've labelled it at £5, then it's £5.
Yeah, or they think it's going to be expensive and don't bother asking.
Yeah. So
it's going to take so long to label up all of them. You've got how many in that? Like 500, 600, 700 in there or something?
I reckon because I've got that one. I've got another 1,400 today. There's probably about 11,500 in there now.
11. That's mad. I got 130 records in today. I paid £35. So.
And how do you feel listing records?
I like it.
Yeah, I love it. It's great.
I only started doing it because my mate's dad, my mate's moved. He was in Australia, but now he's in Portugal, where his missus is. And his dad rung me up. He was like, "Oh, we've done a loft clear out, and I got some of his stuff. Are you interested? Because we've heard you're doing the selling." They heard through my mum because they're friends with my mum and that. I was like, "Yeah, sure." So he come round. He had a Sony record player. He was like, "Yeah, have that." All these records that were their records, and then a few of his records as well. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to try and list these on eBay, because I was just going to do it like a bundle lot on Facebook. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to list these. So I stood them all up. I did nice photos like I would with a video game. Listed them all. Like some of them were like really good, like £20 plus. Some of them were like a couple of £1. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to list them all. I don't care. See what happens.
Yeah.
And then the sales just like flying in. I'm like, wait, what? They're actually selling like proper quick. And then I'm just packing them. Like I have the eBay boxes, right? Because I didn't buy any specific stuff to ship them in. I have like the square boxes that like you put like a mug in or something. Yeah. And I just leave it flat and I slide it in the side, put my card in and put it in a poly mailer. And like I've sent out like 30 records so far. And like I'm getting like feedback for like, oh, lovely packed, fantastic, and I'm just like, well, that worked out well. I mean, I had all the boxes already. Like, why pay for? Because I think like record sleeves, like or shipping sleeves, could be quite expensive. So, and I can get 50, 100 of them boxes for like 15 or whatever it is off eBay. So,
yeah, I've gone through like
I'm really happy with it.
All ways of different ways of trying to send vinyl, and I've bought the sleeves. I've bought then I bought stronger sleeves, and then I just ended up with the pizza boxes. And fingers crossed, the pizza boxes they're the best. Like,
are they cheap? Do you just like open them up and then wrap them? Is that how you do it, or? So
I have been adding a little bit of more padding to them. I just put open up a newspaper sheet, put the record inside, fold it over, scrunch some more newspaper, put that in. So it's just taking up that void. Yeah, and that's it. Put it in there.
Yeah, see, mine just slide direct into the box because obviously they come flat pack. It's a little. There's a little bit extra on either side. There's maybe like an inch on either side. Like, so if it gets knocked, like when it's flat, it's not gonna really do anything to the record because it's like well in there. Excuse me. And then obviously it's a box. I'm just using Hermes.
Yeah.
See, the only problem that could happen is they throw it in the van and it's at an angle, and then another box gets put on top, and then obviously you've got the weight on the record. But my Hermes around here are really good. Like, they're really careful. Like, I've watched them. Like, I've observed them taking the parcels from the shop that I drop them off at, and they'll like individually stack them in the van. It's just after that, like, where they end up. But so far, fingers crossed, until I get to a point where I'm having lots of people complaining, like, oh, if like one person messages, oh, my record got damaged, that's fine, full refund, not a problem, very sorry. If it happens again and then again, I'll be like, okay, time to move on to the next.
Yeah.
Or I'll go back.
That's what happened to me.
Yeah.
I was just like, I can't keep sending these refunds.
Yeah. So until that happens, and it's the same for a lot of things. Like, I pack a lot of my things, like my video games, I don't put them in like a card or case or anything. They just go straight in the poly baler. And people say, oh, you're mental, like they're going to get broken. But for me, it's like, why waste the money when there's no issue? Like, if it gets to a point where there's an issue and they're all arriving broken, then maybe I have to change the way I do it or move to a different courier. But until it gets to that point, why would I waste an extra 40p or whatever per sale when nothing changes? So, you know. But the box itself is a regular box, so you've got that thickness on both sides of the vinyl. It's unless someone like kicks it down the middle and it snaps, or like I said, the weight gets put on it at the wrong angle, like it's going to be fine. So
yeah, because I couldn't understand how a vinyl record could be snapped in the post, because if you try and snap a vinyl, they're really strong.
That's it. Well, it's solid plastic, aren't they?
Yeah,
Vinyl plastic.
I reckon Hermes could.
So how is that?
Yeah, I'm just thinking, like, if they have like a box in the back of the van and they shove your vinyl up on it, so it's at an angle like this, like leaning up, and then they put another box here, like boom, straight down on it, then it could like snap it. But unless something like that happens, it's not really gonna. I don't know. And I usually ship like maybe 5 or 6 in one go, so they get a stack of them. It's not like it's always one. They have like a nice like handful, so if it goes in the back of the van, there's like 10 of them or whatever. So far so good.
When are you opening a record store then?
In about 6 months.
I'm not opening a record store.
If I'm going off your...
No, I'm not planning to a record, so I plan to put this clothing.
Yeah, I mean, it took me 5 years to accumulate that much stock of records that I could do it. And it is getting harder, there's no doubt. But my first collection, I was looking for Lego, and on Gumtree, the guy had Lego, and you can just go through their other items to see what they've got.
Yeah.
He had like a load of records, and I think I paid like 750 quid for all of his records and all of his Lego. And really, I was looking at the Lego thinking, yeah, I've got my money here in the Lego. Then I started listening to the vinyl. I thought, this is selling like fast. Bam, 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 bam.
I love it when you find
that was it then.
I love it.
I think records are the next thing on like the resellers watch list. Like a lot of, like, I don't see. Obviously, you have Nick and Andrea who go through the vinyl. You see them go through the vinyl in their videos. But they love media. That's the thing. Like, no, who else? I don't really see anyone else regularly standing there like looking out for vinyl. Like, most of the people skip through it. So I think that's the next thing. Like, everyone. I think this season everyone's going to be making videos about vinyl. Oh, I got this load of vinyl from the CARBOOT sale. I think that's the next thing, because games, everyone's doing games. I think vinyls are the new video games.
I personally think reselling video games is one of the easiest things to do. They're easy to research, they're scannable, and they sell easy. I
Yeah.
do really think that is the best thing if you're going into reselling, to start with the gaming, because there's so much content out there, so much accessibility to
And
it.
it's the same thing with vinyl. Like, it's the next step really for a game seller with vinyl, because I mean, all the information's on the front of it or on the back of it, and then you just look, is it in good condition? Yeah, if it's in good condition, sweet. If not, put it in the record player, test it. You know, I have a record player. I listen to records while I'm packing anyway, so I have a machine. They're not expensive. You can buy a cheap record player for 15-20 quid. They do those weird like briefcase ones that are small, and then you open it up and the record just sits on top. So like, it's not hard to, it's not like you have to buy a PlayStation 4 to test the games, you know, like.
I've got a beautiful record player for sale if anybody wants to buy it, 550 quids. I'm not taking off.
There's me saying it's not like buying a PlayStation 5, and then you're like, for 500 quid.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think there's not an untapped market, but I think like the market's kind of been plodding along. People have been making loads of money, and now people are realizing like it's coming back round. Everyone wants it, and I'm just thinking in 10 years' time. I'm just thinking in 10 years' time, are people going to want CDs? And we're just like hating on CDs right now, but I don't know.
I don't think they're going to want CDs.
Yeah, but
vinyl overtook CDs sales for the first time in years, like 20 odd years. This year,
it makes sense though, because it makes sense because digital's better than CD. It's easier and cheaper to get a digital download than a disc. And then like vinyl's the nostalgia, physical, like sounds better kind of like hype kind of thing. So why would you ever buy a CD right now? Like you literally wouldn't ever need a CD, because you either digital it or you get it on a vinyl. So it makes sense.
It's just for collectors that, you know, say if you wanted, if you just discovered Oasis when you were just growing up and you just want to collect all of their merchandise
I actually looked. I really want Oasis record. They're so expensive.
Yeah.
Like I was like, I'm just gonna get like a, I don't know, Morning Glory or something on vinyl.
See, the thing is with records is I don't like posting them because they're too big to go in a small parcel unless you use the maximum small parcel. And then you tilt it up onto the side, and so I dislike selling them personally. Like, so what I do when I find record collections that are for sale, I've got a record guy that buys them direct from me, but buys them in the bulk, buy them all, and then they'll do the same for video games and for board games and things like that to me. So I'll bulk buy that stuff off of him, and he'll bulk buy the vinyls off of me. I obviously know that there's going to be some good ones in there. I obviously know there's going to be some fillers in there, but that's for him to do the work on that, and I'll do the work on the stuff that he gives me.
Someone in the chat just asked, how do you grade your vinyls? Do you have like a grade system, or is it just like people take a look in the shop? Or obviously on eBay it's a bit different. I just say I take a photo of the vinyl front and back, but it's still hard to check like on a picture. So I just say like in good working condition or bad condition or whatever myself. How do you do that? Or...
So what I do, I don't get bogged down by grading. A lot of the vinyls I sell are to DJs, or not like big time collectors. If I had a vinyl that was worth 100 quid, I'd grade it properly. I just put in my description, all the records are in a used condition, therefore all will be graded in the below categories, which is very good, obviously been paid many times, or good plus, some signs of wear. A lot of the records I have tend to be in a decent condition, so they're way above the actual grading that I've put.
Yeah.
But I've just put that little, giving them 2 grades, either going to be one or the other, and that's it.
Is that your PC?
That is my notifications popping up.
I'm bidding on a load of auctions at the minute, so.
Yeah, no, I just got I think it's like 125 or 130 records. Nothing special, nothing like Michael Jackson or anything of that caliber. But you know, there's some in there that are like £5, £6, £10. I paid 30 quid for it, so I'll go through and I'll just see what's like £10 or above. I'll list them first, and then if there's like the dregs of the lot left, I'll either save them for a CARBOOT or I'll bundle them on Facebook or whatever. But yeah, I just enjoy it.
I'd list them as well. I'd list them
Yeah.
because some of the stuff that I come across, and I'm sitting there thinking, why am I listing this? And some of the weirdest stuff and stuff that you're thinking, my God, like who would buy this? It sells. I sold like a Christmas carol song on the hottest day of the year.
I sold a Christmas record the other day for 20 quid.
Exactly.
It's February. What's going on?
Yeah. Like these, you see these big Glenn Campbell box sets, 5 vinyls, really heavy stuff. You're thinking that, and someone bought it.
Yeah, because
I'll tell you what's better than records. What's more valuable than records and
gold.
easier to sell, but so hard to find. Mini discs.
Mini disc albums.
Yeah, mini disc albums. I've only ever found 3, and I looked them up. The CDs go for about £1, but the mini disc version went for like 70 or 80 or 90 pounds each. Yeah. I was like, that's mental.
That's not for blank like this. That's for like.
No, not for blank. No, it's like an album.
The album.
Yeah.
Because mini discs fit in a regular CD player, don't they?
No.
They're not.
No, they don't. They come in a little square box like this, and they go into just mini disc players or mini disc CD players.
So not like
grey cart.
Yeah.
So not like a mini disc, as in like a Game Boy,
like a GameCube game.
GameCube game,
like that.
Okay. Because I never realised that like an actual CD player has like that little indent in it for like the small version of the discs, but obviously they never caught on. Like if you actually eject a CD, yeah, I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like the small ones that you get like for GameCube, like if you actually eject a disc, like you'll see like the little indent in it for that. But
they're 3-inch CDs, aren't they?
Yeah, I think they were supposed to be the next big thing, and then it just never happened. A bit like the HD discs that Microsoft did or whatever it was. Because I remember that phase. It was like around when the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 were out. There was that big like battle between Blu-ray and HD. You'd go in like you'd go into Blockbusters, and they'd have the Blu-rays, and then they'd have the red or burgundy or whatever it was HD discs. So many people must have like got stung buying a HD player and then Blu-ray one. Could you imagine? They were so expensive. They were like 600, 700 quid back in the day. And then like 3 months later.
So is there any money in the HD like DVDs then? No, because there wasn't
maybe. I mean, they would be rare technically, but I don't know if anyone even has the players anymore. Like, and they were around for such a short time. Because I actually watched a video on it, and basically what happened was it was like the war of the Hollywood studios. So like when they first come out, the studios like picked their allegiance basically between which system they were going to print the discs on. And more originally went with Blu-ray because it was Sony, and then obviously as that caught on, the others kind of dropped out of HD, and then there was only like 1 or 2 left even bothering to print their movies on it, and then it just died out. So you never know, there might be that little group of weirdos online that love HD DVDs or whatever it is, and they might be worth loads of money. But
that's the thing though, because it's like mini discs. I normally sell that when I get them in. I'll sell them, and when they tend to sell, they always sell internationally. And it's always within Europe. It's like different places, like different things.
Adam says he sold sealed discs for good money.
There does seem to be money in these HD DVDs.
Yeah, because every now and again you'll see one at like a CARBOOT, like in that red or burgundy case. And
yeah, that's it. Like, the top,
yeah, is anyone going to want this? And I've just never picked them up. But because Xbox had the external HD drive for the HD discs, but obviously they were charging like 80 quid, so no one wanted it. Whereas it was the Blu-ray was built into the PlayStation, so I remember my dad went to Curry's or whatever it was, I think it was Curry's, and he was like looking to get one, and they were like, just buy a PlayStation, it's £200 cheaper, you get the console and the Blu-ray built in, like, even if you don't use it as a console, like you get the Blu-ray in the console and it's £200 cheaper than the cheapest Blu-ray player. So then he bought me a PlayStation for Christmas. And then I sold it for like £800. That was actually my first flip on eBay, because I begged for that PlayStation because all my mates, I was an Xbox player, and all my mates were like, oh, we're getting PlayStation for Christmas. And this was like 2007, I think. So I begged and begged and begged for this PlayStation. Like, you can't leave me playing Xbox when all my mates are on PlayStation. It's unfair. I was like, please, please. And what happened was he got the PlayStation in a bundle with the TV. He upgraded the TV, and they used to do those like bundles where if you buy this TV, you get PlayStation or whatever. So that's what he did. So I had the PlayStation. He's using it as Blu-ray player. But then like 2 months later, they discontinued that model, and that was the backwards compatible model. They discontinued backwards compatibility. So then I looked on eBay, and they were auctioning off for like £800. So then I was like, right, I'm auctioning it off. I was like 12 years old, auctioning off a PlayStation on eBay. This was back when there was no buy it now, I don't think. So it was all, and it was a 99p start. And I remember there was like an hour left. My mum was just going mental at me, like, you've listed this console and no one's bid on it yet. You're going to lose us all the money. And I was like, sat there like nearly crying, thinking I've just lost my PlayStation. And then in the last like 5 minutes, we were refreshing. It just went up and up and up to like £800. It was mental, absolutely mental. So, and then the deal was you only get to keep the extra. So whatever the console was worth before, even though they got it for free, I think. So it was like 400 or something, and then I got to keep the extra. And then I just spent the extra on games for my Xbox. So it was quite a good little investment for me, really. But they weren't happy when I came down like a couple of weeks after Christmas saying I'm going to sell the PlayStation on eBay, because they wanted to use it as a Blu-ray player for one, and it was like a present I begged for like a month or whatever. Yeah, they weren't happy. But then, you know, they saw it sold for so much.
For you.
Yeah, I was young. I never liked it though. It was the console was terrible compared to the Xbox. Like the experience you got on it was pretty bad. But yeah. People still talking about
mini discs
in the chat.
HD DVDs.
Blu-ray run oh God, I can't speak. Blu-ray one as Sony included a player in the PlayStation 3. Yeah, that's what I just said.
But that doesn't mean anything. Like in 20 years' time, obviously the HD DVDs will be worth a lot more than the Blu-rays, because obviously like the mini discs were like,
well, maybe DVDs. Not, because people might forget about HD DVDs, and then Blu-rays might come back round as like the retro, like, oh, do you remember we had Blu-rays kind of thing?
Yeah, but then you'll get the retro alternative on top of that as well. So like CDs are retro now,
maybe,
and obviously the retro alternative is the mini discs, and they're like high price. So I think that HD DVDs will 20 years time be worth good money.
The moral of the story is don't sell your collections for £20, because in like 10 years time they'll be worth like £400.
Yeah, but don't be a hoarder either, unless you got warehouse. Then you can hoard what you want.
If you got access to the loft, just put your CDs up there and just forget about them, because you never know. It's like that time when they were like on the news, like, oh, if you have this 20p, it's like a rare one, it's worth like, do you remember that?
I know you get the 20p's, no, the 10p's with the letters on them. They're actually worth a little bit. I like them, but I collect them ones, so if I ever get them, I'll keep them.
So plans moving forward, you're just going to fully stick to mainly vinyl? Like, where do you get your vinyl from? Do you have like a supplier, or do you just buy in bulk off Facebook, or how does that work?
In general, Facebook, yeah. Got to be quick. Like yesterday, there was like 1,400 records. I messaged the guy. They've been online for like 19 hours, so I was surprised I was even able to see them.
Yeah, that's
And
quite a long time.
yeah, I messaged him saying, "Are they still available?" He says, "I'm 17th in the queue," but I was like, "Oh well, that's a no then."
Damn.
And I messaged him saying, "Oh, there would have been. I'm opening a record store. There would have been great for the record store." And he says, "Where's the record store?" I said, "Oh, it's in Birmingham." Blah blah blah. I said, "That was that." He messaged me later that evening. Said he's been let down twice now by the people in the queue, and because I'm opening a record store, he bumped me to the top. I said, "Look, I'll come and I'll pick him up tomorrow."
I'm using that from now on. I'm opening a store.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
I'm reliable.
That it seems to have more trust
Credence.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. You know.
Well, I mean, if you get
Um,
screwed over by two people in a row, it's like I can't be bothered with this. Let's just give it to the guy that is gonna definitely take it.
yeah, that deals
So,
with it, and
and the other
yeah, okay.
15 people aren't gonna know that they're being mugged off to the bottom of the queue anyway. Like, so does it really matter?
Yeah, and he was a record dealer. This is what you got to be careful of with these record dealers, because when I agreed the deal, it's £350 for 1,400 records. When I agreed it, the way it was laid out in the picture, there was 14 boxes, and on top of each box there was a decent record. So you can't really see what's in the boxes. So I was thinking,
Yeah.
oh. Then I've done a bit more research into the guy, and he's got a record, does markets record. He hasn't got a record shop, but does markets, and he sells a bit online.
Yeah, the best ones would have sold then.
Yeah. I saw someone advertised on Facebook.
Yeah.
It was like a VW van or something, and he just had like buckets of vinyl. They all looked like half terrible, and then on top there was like a really nice record. I'm like, you're such a bait. And then like there's just one picture, and you just see there's like this like crusty double mattress like inside the van. It's like, mate, you've been like sleeping and like smoking pot in this van with your records. Like, I ain't going anywhere near that. No thanks. Could you imagine?
That's gross, mate. That's absolutely gross.
It was
So I thought the whole lot would have been cherry picked, and all it turns out is he doesn't deal with anything else apart from like rock, Bowie, the Beatles, all the good stuff, and all the stuff he doesn't really want, dance music, which I'll take all day. He just bundles it up and sells it. So we've exchanged numbers now, and if he gets any dance music in the future, which he'd normally turn away, he'll let me know. So he'll make a bit on it, and I'll go up and get it.
Yeah, that's what you want, someone like that, because obviously he's probably tried selling dance at the markets and no one's after it, so it's useless to him. If he's not selling on eBay, then why would he need it?
Somebody's looking for vinyls, they're looking for old music, really, aren't they?
Yeah.
Not modern.
But on eBay, like, you get like anyone buying, like, you get young kids that just want like a dance record or something, and
little DJs,
they'll pay money for it. Yeah, so.
And a lot of it is, I think it's people giving gifts. So what they'll do is frame it. So the other thing I was thinking about doing is adding an option to the listing saying if you want it framed, I'll include a frame, but no, it's got a drop down saying include frame as gift. It's like an extra like 10, 15 quid or something.
That's a good idea. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, because if they're selling as like if they're selling at a certain size parcel anyway, it's not going to cost any extra to ship it with a frame. Anyway, and if you can like source like a load of nice silver frames or something, or black frames or whatever, it's just how do you list it with like a separate option that will like delist both of them at once? That's what I'm thinking. Like,
because I know you can do a drop down to like.
I know you can do variants and stuff, but I don't know whether if they buy the variant, will it delist the regular version as well? Like, I'm not sure whether that works or not.
I haven't looked too much into it, but that was like an idea I had last year, and I was looking at getting like a load of bulk in from China, a load of bulk vinyl frames, but just haven't something like. I know IKEA do them.
Yeah,
IKEA do them.
They're probably like £1,000 from IKEA, don't they?
Yeah, not cheap. Nice though.
Right, does anyone have any questions in the chat before we wrap things up in a little bit? So I don't want to keep you for too long. If you have any questions, shove them in the chat real quick. We'll go through them as quick as we can because we've already been live for an hour and 15. So, are you good to stick around for another 15 minutes, answer a few more questions from chat, or are you needing to pop off? You good? Cool.
I'm alright for a bit. Yeah.
Do you have any questions, Joe, you wanted to add?
Yes. Obviously, when you buy the stuff in the shop, obviously, it's kind of like being a pawn shop. Would you have to fill in like the whole address of the person you bought it from and everything like that? And obviously, if things go missing, police can take it off you and stuff like that. Have you looked into that?
Not yet, no. I don't think vinyl is the kind of thing that people.
No, but I think you still have to log the details of the person that sold it to you. If that makes sense.
I haven't thought about that, but probably something I'm going to have to do, to be honest. Yeah.
And like register with the police just because when things do go missing, they'll come.
I think you can get. I think you can. You have to get like a buy book from the council or something. Yeah. But like give you a book and then you fill in the slips and then the buyer gets a slip and then you keep a slip because you have to like take their like ID and stuff.
Or I might just go to their house and buy it.
Yeah.
Or just carry on buying as normal. Yeah. I think it's only when you have like a retail, if like someone sells you something in a retail shop, that's when you have to.
Yeah, I kind of saw that as one of the main selling points in my first idea of I want to have a shop, was people would come to me with stock to sell to me, so sourcing would be a lot easier. But now, if I was going to go and open a shop now, it would just be a clothing shop, and anything that I have in the clothing shop wouldn't be listed on my eBay, and I'd have somebody else in separate to come and open that shop, sell the stuff, close the shop, just tell me when it needs more stock, and just literally all I do is buy the stock to fill that shop up and have somebody else run it for me. That's what I really want to do in the future when I expand.
The best thing about having a retail store is that when you're in a unit, you're not really recognised by the council as having a business. You're just in a unit and it just stores stock. They don't recognise you. As soon as you move into a premises where it's got rates to pay, that's when they take notice. So I moved into the shop on like the 3rd of November. And on the 6th of November, we had the second lockdown. It was closed for 4 weeks. So the council paid me £2,000, which wouldn't have happened in a unit. No way. And then since then, so from having to close the 3rd time, so January up to now, they've paid me another £6,250 from January.
Is that like do you have to pay that back in any way, or is that just like a grant?
No,
or how does that work?
That's a business support grant. Not a loan or anything. It's from the government as compensation for having to force to be closed because we're non-essential. So that decision to move into a shop, when I took it, was paid nearly a year's rent.
Yeah, that's crazy. I'm surprised they didn't like do a workaround where they just paid it direct to the landlords. Like, I'm surprised they actually sent it direct to you. I guess it's to cover more than just the rent, I suppose.
Yeah, so I mean, Joe, in the future, you know, who knows? This might not be the last lockdown, but you know, if you have a retail store which has to close, you'll benefit from it.
I think I was actually entitled to like claim something about like because I was registered self-employed. I've been registered self-employed for over a certain amount of time. I was actually entitled to go off to the government and be like, "Oh, I want this," but I didn't need that, so I didn't bother with it. Like, I know a lot of people do need it. I know there's a couple of companies here in Plymouth. One of my good friends, Darren, he has his own boxing gym, and he's struggled. He's absolutely struggled. Obviously, he's opened for a couple of months last year. That was it. He's got 2 mortgages he's trying to pay. Can't pay nothing and then the government won't give him the money because his company only started about 6 months ago, like 6 months before the lockdown. So he weren't entitled to anything. So he was really stitched up there, and he was a boxer himself. So his main bit of income was he'd go off and he'd box and he'd get like £2,000 or £3,000 like in sponsorships or whatever, and that's what he would get. Obviously, you can't box; you're not going to be sponsored to be a boxer. You can't get the purse for your fights, so he lost out on that as well. So both his businesses, being self-employed as a boxer, being self-employed as a boxing coach, like he's really struggled. This lockdown really did hit people hard, and I understand that the government has helped a lot of people, but like when it comes down to the self-employed, they just made it so many loopholes to jump through. And although I could have got help with like rent on my premises and that, like the loopholes that I would have had to jump through just wouldn't have been. And also, I just like the lockdown really, really, really helped my company grow. It sounds savage. If there's one thing that's good that's come from the lockdown, is it's helped me grow a business. I'm sure it's helped a lot of other people grow a business during this lockdown and work for themselves. But
I think the one thing for me, like with the lockdowns, was like the forced need of like keep going. Like there's no other option. There's definitely no, like before when I first started, obviously reselling like just over a year ago, it was like the only thing I could do because I couldn't find a job, so I jumped into reselling. But there was always like in the back of your mind, oh, you can just go get a job. You can just go get a job. And then obviously lockdown happened. It's like, well, no, that's not even an option anymore. So just keep going. Like you're enjoying it. It's going well. Just plod along, see what happens. And it, went from strength to strength, luckily enough, and it seems to be working out well. So I think that probably happened for a lot of people as well. Like not even just like sales increase because everyone was buying online, but like the actual like, oh, this actually is viable kind of thing. And obviously even if sales kind of slow down a little bit once everything reopens, which I don't think is going to happen too much, they know that if they work a little bit harder, then they're going to be fine doing reselling. Like it's a real thing. Like when someone says get a real job to you, you're like, well, I have a better job than you, mate. I work for myself.
The thing. It is a real job, and although people don't see it as a real job,
a real job's definition.
This is more strenuous than a real job. There's a lot more stresses. There's a lot more.
Their definition,
because you are working for yourself, and if you don't make money, you're not going to be putting food on your table, and you're not going to be putting rent and a house, a roof above your head. So they might say, "Go get a real job." Your job is about real as it gets. Your job is making money to make you survive. That's what it is.
Well, their definition of a real job is working for someone who hate every single minute of the work that you do. Like that's their definition. They don't like the fact that you work for yourself and you enjoy it, so they say get a real job. If I have to work for Tesco's, so do you. That's when they say get a real job, that's what they're saying. Like I don't like the fact that you can do what you do. That's what they're saying.
I'm about as common as they come, and I'm surprised that I've put myself in the position I've put myself in. But I'll tell you one thing, I wouldn't have pushed as far as I am now if it wasn't for, like, sometimes it would be like, oh, I can't be. I had this the whole of December, I was really down. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to turn up to work every day. But I had to do it because it's the only way I was getting money. And the only thing really that I was turning up for is so I can actually make some videos. And so YouTube has helped me with it mentally. YouTube has hindered me mentally. Like it's just a love-hate relationship with YouTube, really, isn't it? But I do think it does help you, and watching other people's content and people giving you advice whilst you're putting out content. The amount of things that I've learned from just doing like live streams, people say, "Oh, why don't you try this?" and you try it, and you're like, "That's amazing."
Well, there's like a motivation loop, isn't there? Like you do your work and you film it and then you put it out, and then you get the motivation from the positive feedback or the views or whatever happens to give you the motivation to make another video. But to make another video, you have to work hard because you can't just you have to, because it's a YouTube about your job. You have to work to make content. The content's made.
You don't want to leave sloppy content out there, sloppy work out there.
Exactly. So it makes you work harder to be able to make the next video, which then in turn gives you more motivation. So you work harder to make the next video, which then hopefully you get more motivation. It just goes on and on and on, which is great because when the car boots are going, like I have to wake up and I can't drive to the car boot. I have to pull a trolley for an hour to get there. And I'm like, do I really want to be bothered with this? And I'm like, yeah, because I want to make a video. I like making the video. It's fun. So I have the motivation to go in the cold in the morning, drag in this trolley, and then I get home, I edit it, I put it up, and then there's the motivation. And then I'm like, oh, there's another car boot in 2 days' time. I'm going to go to that one as well.
Oh my God, have you seen T-Cake's message there? One of my tenants has not paid rent in a year now, but the government says you can't kick him out.
Yeah.
That is ridiculous. My landlord actually, although we're renting through a company, the landlord actually contacts us just saying, look, if you, like during the first lockdown, if you struggle, please let us know and we'll come to an arrangement where, you know, we could probably give you some free rent and whatever, but I never needed to. It was just no need to do it, so I was quite happy with that, and I was quite happy that my landlord messaged me to say that as well. I know Lauren doesn't like this place, but I like the landlord. I like that he just leaves us to do us, and then obviously his message us during the hard times and said, if you need it, we're here. You know,
I moved into this house the day the first lockdown happens. It was March 23rd. I moved in on March 23rd. We luckily had the Virgin internet people come the same day to get the internet on, because otherwise we would have been stuck for like 4 months with no internet. So my business would have ground to a halt during the first lockdown, which was like when everything kicked off, like for sales and stuff. So I was so lucky that they got round on that day, because they proper limited their workers. Virgin did for a while, so that was lucky.
I always think, like, you know, COVID, as bad as it is, it's not like the worst thing that could happen. And I always think, you know, if we had a meteor strike, you know,
that wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Oh, you know, God, could you imagine if the internet like died, like they couldn't get the internet back on? Like, it'd be pandemonium.
Ice Age, it would be.
Well, for a start, I would have no money because all my money's on this little thing. I have an internet.
You've got stock. Stock is now money. It's
yeah,
all
but,
about
yeah, but that's all done.
resellers.
That's all on the internet now as well. Like, if you go to the actual stock exchange, there's not 1,000 people on the floor shouting like anymore. It's all done online. So if the internet dies, the stocks go, your bank's gone because that's all done on the internet. Like, everything's online now. Like, the world would be nuts. Like, no one would have any money.
It would be a new. It would set us back a few thousand years when it would be.
You can't even use an ATM because that's connected to the internet. Like, how do you think the ATM knows how much money you've got in it?
There was a series that come out. I think there's only like 2 of them, and there was no electricity in the world, and it was a series based around how life would be with no electricity.
I think I know what you mean.
That was on when the aeroplane crashes right at the beginning or something, isn't it?
Yeah.
I can't remember what it's called, but I remember what it was about, and it got really silly in the second series, didn't it?
Well, it was silly from the beginning. The electricity goes out, and then a plane instantly blows up and crashes out of the sky. I'm like, that's not going to happen.
I'll tell you what. Read this book; it's amazing. It's called The Day After Tomorrow. No, not The Day After Tomorrow. It's a different one.
That was a terrible movie.
No. I didn't mean that one. I wouldn't suggest that one. It's called The Second After. It's an American book. It's an American read about a solar flare. Well, it's not a solar flare. It's a man-made solar flare. So, obviously, if you set a nuclear bomb into the atmosphere and it blows up, it creates a solar flare, knocking out all of the electricity, and how America would deal with it.
Like an EMP, basically.
Yeah, EMP. That's it, pretty much. And yeah, I found it really realistic, and it goes through like the first year on that, and it shows how desperate people got and what people would eventually do, and how groups would come together and how groups would not come together. I thought it was really good. Worth having a look at. Worth a read.
Well, you only have to look at Texas. Like, they had that storm that froze. They moved like half their power onto like the wind turbines, and then they had this massive like 1 in 100-year storm this year, like a couple of weeks ago, and the wind turbines froze, so they have no electricity. So there was like 3 million people in freezing cold conditions, like with no electricity. They had no heater, and there was like people dying in their houses, like freezing to death. It's like, this is Texas. It's like, you think Texas, like baking hot, right? It's mad. It's like the electricity goes out. Like, what do you have? Like, you can't connect to the internet, so it's not even the internet going off.
A lot of people can't hunt now as well. A lot of people can't hunt. They don't know what they can eat in the wild. So when they do run out of tins and food and whatever, then what is there to eat? Everyone's depending on everyone.
And if you think about it, like, if you take out like a couple of the smart people and then turn off the internet, is anyone going to even know how to turn it back on? Like,
it was a Scottish person that invented the internet, wasn't it? And he gave it away for free. No, he sold it for £1. He sold it for £1.
I don't know, but all I know is, like, if somehow like half the planet got wiped out, it would take us like 1,000 years to figure out like half the stuff we had before.
I don't know if it's thousands, because obviously the idea's there. Just got to create it then.
Yeah, but how? Like, if no one knows how to make the internet, if you was the last man alive, Joe, how would you turn the internet back on?
I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't know how to do that. No,
exactly.
I know what you're saying.
But like, if like, how many people know how to turn the internet back on? If like it got blown out, if all those people died, how long would it take us?
It wouldn't happen.
It wouldn't. We'd not have the internet.
We wouldn't be doing it. Us three wouldn't be doing that.
It would become like the new Bible. Like, people would talk about this magical thing called the internet, and then in like 300 years time, we'll be like worshipping internet god, and like the new kids will be like, yeah, it's a load of rubbish. It never existed. Like, you're just making it up. Like,
the new kids.
Yeah, they'd be like, the internet god. Like, you could talk to someone across the planet, and everyone would be like, "Ooh."
We should do that conspiracy hour once a week. Conspiracy hour.
His name is Elon Musk.
We'll ring him up and tell him to put it back on. How's your sales been this weekend? Anyway, Brum.
Sales.
Yeah, how's your sales been?
Consistent. Doing. Let me check. Yeah, done 150 today, 142 yesterday. Roughly about 100 to 120 on average since.
Yeah, it's about the same as me.
All throughout Feb. My lowest day, I had a £29 day.
Yeah,
today.
I had a £40 day last Tuesday.
I tend to find that Sundays are just the best days for ending auctions. That's it, really. It's like, by now, sales don't really do great on a Sunday.
I had an £800 last 7 days.
Oh, 7 days.
Which is like, what's that? £112 a day or something on average.
I've had 2,058 in the last 7 days.
All right. Missed a big shot.
Sorry, lads.
Flexing on us again.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I've got a lot more stock because I just buy everything, then I say, don't worry about it.
What I'm looking forward to is opening and having that extra income stream coming in.
Yeah, so you've got 2 ways of...
I haven't got a clue.
How are you going to take payments? Do you have like one of those card readers set up to your phone, or how have you got?
Yeah, I've got a sum up machine.
Which is what taxi users. The taxi users use that, don't they?
Yeah.
And then that does that go straight to a bank account? Or?
Yeah, and then it's a daily payout. The payout the next day. So yeah, I'm kind of just because I've never done it before. I haven't got a clue what's going to be coming in the door. Not a clue.
Can you track like what you sold through that? Like, can you like submit that it was like a record or a teddy or something when you take the cash, or you take the payment? How does that work?
So if I take a payment on the sum up, it's all automated. If I take cash, then I haven't got a till. I don't know if I can add a cash payment to sum up. I'll have to check. Not sure.
That'd be good because then it all tracks to one place. And then what happens if someone? Yeah. I guess if someone brings something back, how you do a refund? Can they refund straight through that same payment thing to their card, or do you have to do that in cash? Or
I can find the transaction if they're paid on card and refund an amount to that person.
That's good, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good that it
So
doesn't just sit in account, like it auto pays you out and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, all this is like all these things that you're saying is new. So first person that comes through the door and asks for a refund, like get out, no refunds.
Do you have to?
So
You have to, don't you? Is there like a requirement?
It's legal requirement to accept refunds.
I think it's 30 days. But
30 days.
I'm not that kind of person. If someone's not happy with it when they've took it away, I'd bring it back, get your money back. Not really. Not fussed.
Well, they might come back and buy something else, and if they know that you take refunds.
Yeah.
Just subscribe, enjoy the stream. Thank you, Peter. Peter. Sorry, Pete. Thank you. I had a question. It was right there, and now it's gone. Oh, what day? No, not YouTube question. What day are you planning on opening? Are you opening first day you can? Is that like April 12th or?
So I think the day we said is probably going to be where's my calendar? April.
Hi, Rich. How you doing?
I think we're gonna go for the 17th, which is a Saturday.
Are you going to advertise it online first on your local selling sites? New record shop opening. Have you got your public liability and that all sorted out?
Just advertise that you've got like a really big like singer coming to the opening, and then when everyone comes they'll start buying stuff and you'll be like, okay, they're coming at 3, they're going to be at 3, stay till 3, and like, oh sorry they're late, they're coming at 4, and everyone starts leaving, they've already bought everything and they say, oh they've cancelled, sorry.
Because I'm thinking about closing Monday and Tuesdays just so I can process the CARBOOT stuff that I've done. Give me some time away from it. Because when I went self-employed, the main thing was because you can work your own hours and you can do what you want. But then I'm opening a shop where I'm now tied down to the opening hours. So it's like,
do you reckon you'll get someone in to help you out at some point?
I think so. Yeah, I think that'll be the next step for me. It will be to get someone in.
Because you could have someone up front running the shop, and then you could be out the back dealing with like the eBay stuff and all that.
Yeah, a bit of both really. It depends. Depending on the person and what they can do, and there's a lot of trust involved with that as well.
Yeah, I mean you could just have a camera running, so when you're out the back, they know that they're being filmed.
CCTV, set CCTV up.
Yeah, so that's the next step, I think, because like if I want to go on holiday, I don't want to close the shop. I want to have someone in there that knows what they're doing.
See, I've been training one of my guys. Well, I say one of my guys. I had interviews a couple of weeks ago, and the person I employed took on. I was like, "Yep, you can have the job." He didn't turn up for his first day. I didn't turn up for his second day. I haven't heard from him, so he's not coming to work for me. Even if he says, "Oh no, it's all right, I'll still come." No, you ain't got the job now. He didn't show up. But the guy that I've got at the minute, he can do picking, he can do packing. He's very slow with the picking and packing. He's only just started learning that. Listing, he's good at. He'll do about 50 listings a day if he's on it. So I personally think that if I wanted to go off, which I'm planning to go off to, obviously not next year, not this year now, because I was supposed to get married this year, but now I get married next year. But we're getting married in Cyprus. When I go off there, he's gonna have enough training and experience to run my shop. I'll pay him a bit extra to go in. That's why I bought all of that clothes, 650 items, because I thought that'd keep him going while I'm not there for 2 weeks. He can list that, he can pick, pack, post, list. It's not going to run out of stuff. But when I do go off next year to get married, and we're looking at maybe potentially honeymooning in America for a month as well, he can just have a good wage working there full time, and he wants to come on PAYE, so he wants to come on so when I do transfer over to limited, he'll be a PAYE on a salary anyway, so that'd be good.
So how are you paying him at the moment then?
At the minute he's paying his own taxes, and is sending me invoices every week for how much I pay him, and I'll pay him via bank transfer. but he's self-employed.
Yeah, I've seen a few people do that. So then there's no liability on yourself.
It's just an expense, isn't it? It's just like having
Yeah.
a plumber come round and do some work for you. Or
But the
something.
thing is, his dad, I know his dad, I used to work with his dad. His dad was our old head chef when I was a chef. And his dad works as self-employed because he gets more money that way. And he does go off and do his own taxes and everything like that, because I've asked him for advice on it when I was filing my own tax return. I know he does it all, and he's going to teach his son how to do it. And his son's 17 years old, he's young, he's learning how to do his own taxes, he's learning what I'm doing. I would imagine that he would eventually go off and do exactly what I'm doing, because he can see how much money it's making. So, you know, it's being set up to like good lessons from his father and his family. Hopefully he's picking up good skills with me, and hopefully one day he's going to go off and make good money.
Right, we've been live for an hour and 40 minutes. It doesn't look like we have any more questions, so I think we'll probably wrap it up there. Do you have any promotions you want to do? Your YouTube or Instagram or anything like that? If you want to shout them out, or
well, yeah, if you YouTube, Brum, Reseller. That's it.
same on Instagram as well, isn't it?
Same on Instagram. If people want to watch, they watch. If they don't.
At Brum_reseller. Check him out if you haven't already watched his stuff. I'm sure you already know who he is, though. If not, go check him out. And he has the store, so it's a little bit different. When you see stuff like mine, just from working from inside, it's different seeing it as an actual little shop. Maybe it'll be the next Tesco. Maybe it'll be going down Brum.
The range.
Who knows?
Going down the Brummy.
Brumworths.
Brumworths, oh god. You have a sweet aisle.
Yeah.
Pick and mix records, baby.
25p CDs.
You pay per weight, so you get a really heavy record. You pay more. Right, I think that's it, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. What, pay per weight on the records?
Yeah, like a separate thing, but you get the vintage kilo. You get the the kilo clothes, but
for like a wholesale thing.
Yeah, separate thing.
Yeah, you could do like vinyl by kilo or something, like as a wholesale thing. If you had so much, like if you had like 100,000 records or something, you could sell like
you'd
10
need
kilos or 20 kilos
and all that stuff. You need so much stuff. But I think it's a good could be done.
Yeah, and then you'd get people doing their unboxings like, oh, I got a Michael Jackson. Oh. Right. We will be back next week for the Sunday show. We do have a guest next week. We have Nights Live on next week. So Richard from Nights Live, if he's still available, I'm pretty sure he will be, unless something comes up. So he will be our guest for next week. But thank you very much for Brum for coming on. Appreciate you being here, talking about your shop.
Thanks for the invite.
It was pretty cool. And we will see you guys next week. Thanks for watching.
Cheers, then.